28.
28.
28 piccolos.
30.
30 clarinets.
31.
31.
31 trumpets.
22.
22.
22 mellophones.
11 baritones.
23.
23. 23 alto saxes. 12.
12 tenor saxes.
27.
27 drummers.
2 majorettes.
11 trombones.
4.
4.
4 drum majors.
13. 13 tubas.
16. 16. 16 color guard. This
This
is the pride of the ACC.
Hello once again, everybody. It's great to have you with us for another edition of the Pride of the ACC. Alongside Jeff Fuchs, the head of University Bands, my name is Adam Pohl. And boy, we got a lot to talk to you about today on the interactive side. We're looking at ways to engage our alumni, our current students, fans of this program, and we've got a lot to talk about in that regard. And let's jump into it. But first, Jeff, we got a top 5 football team. I mean, this is unbelievable. And I know that you were one that was able to be at the game at Kenan Stadium for such a big win against Virginia Tech last week.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Mac is back. And gosh, it was fun being in the stadium and watching the game. I was literally in the top row of the upper deck, right on the 50-yard line, with no one around me, and had a nice bird's eye view of the whole thing. And we had all of our seniors who wanted to go were there. And it was fun looking down on them. At one time I texted them and told them to stand up and wave at me. We had a meeting from across the stadium. And so, yeah, the team looks real. And it was a fun afternoon in Kenan. And it's one of the first times we played Virginia Tech for a long time that it wasn't a rainstorm the whole day. So.
Oh my goodness. And obviously, you know, the band, it still is a lot of fun to be able to hear the band over the loudspeaker, even though obviously the band's not playing live. But boy, oh boy, I mean, the team has got it rolling right now, and it's going to be a lot of fun because you look at the schedule. We don't want to play the schedule game, but if the Tar Heels can handle some business here over the next month, I mean, it could be an incredible month of November ahead. And one thing that we wanted to talk about, though, is all of these ways that we want to keep those that are watching this show involved. And we've got an update on the big Hark the Sound project that I know we're so excited about. And it looks like we're ready to unveil it to our fans here of the Pride of the ACC.
Absolutely. We are ready to receive contributions for that project. And contributions in this sense are not monetary. They're musical contributions. And so if you go to our website, uncbands.org, right at the top of the center column is a link that says Hark the Sound. And when you go on that link, it'll take you to a page that tells you everything you need to do. But essentially, you download the music you need, whether it's lyrics or an instrumental part. They're on the page. You just open them up, print them, or download them on your phone if you want to do it that way. Then you click a link on YouTube to get the recording, and you can either play that through headphones or on your speakers. And then you record yourself on your phone, either playing along with it or singing with it. Or heck, if you just want to stand with your spouse or partner and sway to the music, get your kids involved, that's fine. And then once you've done what you're going to do, stop it. And then send it to us through WeTransfer, which is a free transfer that we use for the show. You send it to Michael Coe, one of our video editors, and he's going to put it all together for our final show on November 13th. And that will be the performance that night. And, we want our current students to do it. We want our alumni to do it. If there's prospective students watching the show, we want them to do it. If there's friends of the program watching the show, we want them to send it in. We want Michael to have to work as hard as he possibly can. Everybody's videos incorporated into one master performance of Hark the Sound.
I love it. I love it. And with that being said, we've got a few things that we're going to talk about today that are even go beyond the Hark the Sound project. And one of them is that we are looking to reach out to you, the fans of this show, our current students, our alumni. We want to know what questions you have for Jeff Fuchs. So we want you to reach out here this week via any of our social media streams, meaning Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. And please send us a question. And Jeff, we're going to feature a few questions next week and then even beyond next week here for the rest of our show this year, from our faithful audience.
Yeah, it'll be fun to see what they want to know. And even the ones we don't get to on the show, we'll try to get them answered and send them out on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. So we'll do the best we can to get everybody an answer to their question, some on the show, others through social media.
And of course, if you're writing in as a current student or an alum and we choose your question, it also means that Jeff and I, can tell some stories about you as well. So, right.
Yeah. To send out to some alums myself.
I love it. I love it. Well, let's jump into it here as we start with our staff highlight, our staff highlight of the week. And we've got a member of our guard section on the staff side, one of our two guard instructors this week, and Kayla Goforth.
Yeah, one of the great things I love about our staff is the diversity in what our students are exposed to with that. Kayla's a great example. She's here working on her PhD in biology and studying sea turtles. We've met Zoe, who's a real estate lawyer. We've met Caitlin, who is an environmental scientist. Of course, we have some great teachers, some entrepreneurs, some performing musicians. And I think that's a real benefit for a program like ours, where there are so many different interests with our students. And I think it's important for them to see people who are doing the things they want to do. And Kayla is in her second year with us, and is just a great addition to our staff.
I'll tell you, Jeff didn't stutter right there. He said sea turtles. That's right. What a unique thing. And Kayla's going to tell you all about that here right now.
I'm Kayla Goforth, and I'm one of the color guard instructors with the UNC Marching Band, and this is my second year with the band. Caitlin, the other color guard instructor, and we would create choreography, or we would do like techniques on like different flag tosses or on different ways to spin, and we would upload those to Google. And then the rest of the guard would watch them, learn the choreography, and they would submit their own video, and we would provide them feedback about how to further build their skills. So I got involved because Carly Forbes, who was the original guard instructor that I replaced, she was actually my color guard instructor at University of Florida, which is where I attended as an undergrad. And then she came to Carolina to finish her PhD here. And I also happened to come here for my PhD. And when she was finishing up her PhD, she contacted me, and she said that the guard really needs a new instructor, and that she thinks that I should take her place. And so here we are. I study how sea turtles navigate, and in particular, how they use this sixth sense, where they can sense Earth's magnetic field, and they use it kind of like a GPS to get from where they nest on the beach to where they feed out in the middle of the ocean. And we don't know very much about this sense. It's pretty mysterious. And so I do a lot of different experiments in labs at Carolina and also on the coast of Carolina to figure out how they're using this sense and how they're getting to these different locations. My ultimate goal is to be a professor at a university and run my own lab that's conducting research. So I hope that eventually I can take on graduate students of my own and train them and continue doing research and teaching at the university level. So everybody gets really hyped for game days at both Florida and Carolina, and everybody really loves their school, and there's a lot of pride, even if you just like work there or whether you're a student, there's a lot of pride at both of those schools. And I love the big school atmosphere. I like everything that's involved with it and everything that goes with like bands and the opportunities that you have at those huge schools. So it's been a weird year because everything's remote and everybody is pretty separate, but I would remind them that my closest friends are two girls that I was in color guard with in college. And we still stay in contact and we've actually become closer again since everything with COVID because our schedules have freed up more. And so now we do game nights on Zoom. And so you can still stay connected with people in band. You can still stay connected with everyone from Carolina or from Florida or whatever your school is. And in some ways, you may be more connected to them than you were previously. So.
All right, folks, welcome back to Pride of the ACC. And you know, Jeff, I love all the sections, right? But I've been waiting here for this episode for my section. We got a little green screen behind me taking away my trumpet. But here it is. We get to feature the best of them all, at least the loudest. And you know what, Jeff, trumpets, I mean, loudest can be playing the horn, right? But it can also be when you're not playing the instrument. Isn't that correct? I mean, I think I fit that bill, but it's not just me.
Yeah, there is a certain personality type that migrates towards the trumpet section. And year after year, there are people who fit that mold. And they're not afraid to be seen or heard. And they're not afraid to take risks, picking things up an octave or two in some cases. But you know, every year I use the same analogy. It's like the basketball player. If you're going to go for a dunk, it's only cool if you make it. And it's the same thing with the trumpet players. It's great if you go up and try to scream, but you got to hit the note. And yeah, the trumpets are obviously a core to the sound of the band, and it's a very great and diverse group of students who have a great relationship within themselves, and also one that stretches back through the different ages of the band.
You know, it's funny you say that, Jeff, because in my era of the band, in the pep band, when Whit Blunt, who's a great teacher here in the state of North Carolina, he went up as a blues brother for a dunk and he didn't make it. and that was one of the great moments. The Dean Dome went, oh my God, as Whit hit, you know, so hard down to the ground, but he was able to pop back up and run off the court. I mean, so you know, that could be a metaphor for trying to hit the high note as well. I did want to talk about a tradition though. You know, it's so cool. I was a section leader my senior year, and during Tar Heel Town, as we warmed up, we did a certain warm up, you know, from quieter to middle and louder. And it's cool to see how things transform, but the band has taken that and made it its defensive third down cheer. Tell us about that transition.
Yeah, that's a chord progression that's interesting. I hadn't put the two together, but you're right. The trumpets had always done that as a warm up over on the steps of Dye Hall. Mm-hmm. And we included it as one of the chordal warm up tuning exercises when we did our warm up exercises one year. And we were looking for something to do on third down that would kind of call the crowd to arms and get them fired up. And it was just happenstance at one game. It's like, hey, play number 12 and play it. We call it number 12 because it was the 12th exercise in the warm-up sequence. We're like, hey, play number 12 really loud. and the kids did it. And the second time we did it, everybody, all the students were doing a hand motion. Shortly after that, we added the recording of the bell tower playing on top of it. And it's like a call to arms for football. We use it on pretty much every third down, and we use it sparingly in basketball, but it's one of those things, when we do that, our fans know it's time to get engaged and get behind the team. And that's one of my favorite parts of game day, is on the steps of Wilson before the game we do it. And I get to pick out people who are just there on the steps and have them lead the band on it, have them lead the band through playing it. And it's a big time for the fans, and the kids enjoy it, and I enjoy it. So it's number 12 is an ingrained tradition with us now.
All right, folks, here we go. Trumpets, 2020 trumpets, don't let me down. Here's a look at this year's trumpet section.
My name is Lauren Holtzhauser, and I am a senior from Raleigh, NC, studying music performance and communications. I am one of the 3 trumpet section captains for the 2020 band season.
Hello, my name is Will Hager, and I am a senior from Apex, North Carolina, studying peace, war, and defense and political science. I am one of the 3 trumpet section captains for the 2020 band season.
Hello, my name is Anne Frances Jarrell, and I'm a senior from Charlotte, North Carolina, studying biology.
We have 31 members total, including 8 new members, 8 sophomores, 8 juniors, and 7 seniors. We have a huge range of majors in our section, from biology and chemistry to political science and public policy. Our section blends well on and off the field, but band has always been our center. Next, one of my lovely co-captains, Anne Frances, will now introduce some of our band camp traditions.
One thing we love to do every year is play games during sectionals. 2 of our favorites are Hot Seat and Trainwreck. We learn a lot about each other through these games. Favorite memories, favorite movies, and a lot of hilarious stories in the process. Another thing we do every year is go to the K&W cafeteria one night for dinner as a section. Typically, one person will order a slice of egg pie along with their meal and dare anybody who's brave enough to try it. Something we've been doing recently is playing Capture the Flag every year, at night in front of Wilson on the quad. One thing that we never forget to do is clap it out after every rehearsal. This starts with one person in the middle of a circle rubbing their hands together, warming it up. Then they start a slow clap, and everybody joins in, getting faster and faster, until we all scream, "Ay!"
The trumpet section has several traditions which we do on every game day. The first of these traditions is the weatherman speech. This is a speech given by a senior to all of the section, which relays the weather for the day. Things such as the forecast, temperature, the leaf count, the days until Christmas. It's also a chance for our seniors to offer a prediction for the game and our performance for the day, and just to get everyone hyped up for the entire game day. Our second tradition is the trumpet and tuba performance at Die Hall. At this performance, we'll usually start off with some trumpet chords. We'll play through a few of our favorite defensive shorts, and we'll end with Carolina Victory. Our final game day tradition is trumpet kicks. So as the band dances to the stadium from Wilson Library, everyone usually does the normal motion of turning to the side with their arms going front and back, while the trumpets will alternate between that move and trumpet kicks. Trumpet kicks basically meaning that you kick your leg as high as possible without falling over backwards or hitting the person in front of you.
Well, I'm a little bit partial, but Jeff, it was great to see the trumpet section.
Yeah, it was. For all the former trumpet players out there, I have to be a little bit of a bearer of bad news tonight. For many years, as you all know, we've done band camp section dinners one night, and the trumpets, for as long as I can remember, have gone to K&W cafeteria. And
oh, that's right.
Going through the line there, and unfortunately, the K&W cafeteria in Chapel Hill has closed its doors. So that trumpet tradition, they'll either have to go to Burlington or somewhere else to continue it, or find a new one. So trumpet players, you'll be okay, but know that the K&W...
Oof. As they say, Jeff, a moment on the lips, a lifetime on the hips. And I think that's that lived for all of us through the years with our time at K&W Cafeteria. I think it's the only time I ever ordered Jell-O at a restaurant.
Believe it.
Well, it's time for our alumni focus, but before we jump into it, we actually have some news to break. I mean, this is our show of trying to get everybody involved. We kind of dropped how you're going to be able to join us with Hark the Sound. We want you to send us some questions on social media for future segments on shows to come. But the alumni reunion, it's going to be a very 2020 type alumni reunion. But Jeff, we want to do it this year. And I think it's going to be great for us to all get together in this way. Why don't you tell us what we're going to do here this season?
Yeah, well, November 7th was the day we had originally targeted for our alumni reunion this year. And the schedule has changed for football, and that's actually an away game at Duke that day. But that's okay. We're going to go ahead and have our alumni reunion that day. It's going to start at 10 o'clock that Saturday morning with a general gathering on Zoom. And then at 10:30, we're going to break out into rooms kind of by Director Eris. So there'll be a Zoom place for the Major Y alumni to go. There'll be a Zoom place for the Jim Heil group, a place for those who were here during Brian Doyle's tenure, a place for the Matt McClure students, and then finally a place for the R.S. Golden and our current assistant Aaron Cooper students to go. So we'll meet together, then we'll break out into those rooms kind of based on who was the director or assistant director in most cases while the students were here. And we hope it's a great opportunity for people to reunite, see each other. We'll be together for a couple hours. At noon, we'll close down. And each room will have a host. And it's our hope that each room will have a special guest also drop by to spend some time with the alums from that era.
It's going to be fantastic. November 7th, so mark it down on the calendar to be able to join us via Zoom, spend a few hours from 10 a.m. until noon, and get to reacquaint yourself with some of the great alumni here of the Marching Tar Heels. And we have got one of those members here coming up, a focus of Michael Martine, who has stayed very involved, a former tuba player in the marching band, very involved with the band over the years. And you know what, in this, we got to make mention of the jacket. Now, the way that we taped this, you couldn't really see it, say Carolina, but he is wearing a pep band jacket from his time in the band, really most of it spent in the late 1980s.
Yeah, Michael is such a great guy and has turned into be a great supporter and friend of the program since he graduated. He's still local in the area, and he's another one that every time we have an alumni opportunity to play, he's there. And he always brings a +1 in his son, Cal. And Cal first started coming as a middle school student, and now Cal's in high school and plays with us every chance he gives. Yeah, Mike, we had that throwback game last winter, I guess, in Carmichael, and he was in all of his glory in his pet band blazer. And he's another great one that has been fun to stay in touch with. And our current students know him, much like Leanne, and he supports the program in many ways beyond just playing.
My name is Michael Martine, and I was in the band from 1987 until 1991. I played sousaphone, both in marching and pep bands, and I was in concert bands, so there I played the tuba. So I'm an executive in IBM, and my team and I are responsible in our services division for software assets that we use to deliver value from a consulting perspective to our clients. So that's given me some flexibility to live right here in North Carolina. I've had a few stints away. I live in Chapel Hill, so I'm coming to you live from Chapel Hill today. And it's been a real fantastic ride being together with the team at IBM, and I've been there now nearly 20 years, actually. That's been fabulous for me and my family. I knew that students would go home over the winter break, and I would raise my hand and say, I'm here. Put me in, coach. I'm ready to play. And I've had that opportunity on so many occasions. And there are more than a couple memorable games that happened during those winter months where I could jump in and participate. So my son, Cal, who is a junior now at Northwood High School, have been back for many, many alumni band events, coming from homecoming football games where Cal has been the youngest alumni ever to be marching with the alumni band, to basketball games and more. So that's been wonderful for him. He plays trumpet. And I have to really say it's been his experiences at UNC that really generated that love for being in marching band. It's been a real history lesson, and it's one that's about passion, it's about pride, and to see each of these directors really experience it in their own way. With Major Y, I had the honor of playing under his direction, and he was just such the fan. The respect between him and Coach Smith was just over the top. The transition into Jeff Heil was one where I was around too, and I was there initially for only part of it because I spent my junior year in Berlin. So I had to give up one of my 4 years of eligibility, but I'm making that up, by going to all these events, now that I'm an alum. And when Mr. Fuchs came on the scene, he just brought a level of energy and enthusiasm and embraced all of us from an alumni population. And it was just fabulous to see where he's taken the program and all the great things that he's done. We are the pride of the ACC. We live it, we breathe it, and it carries forward into our everyday lives. And each one of these directors had that perspective. I think the other aspect that springs immediately to mind is the music. To be snappy, to be tight, to showcase what the band could do and delivering on the mission and the values of the band. When you understand multiple languages, and music is one of those languages, and you see the relationships between them, how the chords work together, how things just sit and they feel just right, that lends itself really well to technology. And those of you who are seeing the microphone next to me too, I've been doing podcasting for well over a decade. So the aspects of sound and sound quality and just having that musical background that translates into what I'm doing from a podcasting perspective is a nice linkage too. We may rarely have the melody in the tuba section, but we carry the band with the horn swings, with the way that we do what we do for years and years, with Everybody's Everything, where the tubas come rushing down, multiple steps, not falling, not taking out any of the dance team, but still just showing their enthusiasm, gets everyone rocking and rolling. So yeah, you kind of do need to have a few more tuba players on your show. Carolina gets under your skin. When you live in North Carolina, it becomes part of who you are. And when you hear is it the well or is it the bell, you recognize how crucial it is to what it means to your own psyche. And listening to last week's episode with Elle, for example, Elle and I share an affinity for the same martial arts dojo, and we spend a lot of time and we get to see one another there. So it's cool to have someone who's been so close to the band and also so close into the martial arts perspective, where those two things are really inherent in what I feel defines me. So that's the way I would answer your question.
Well, that was a great look at one of our great alumni, and now we're going to go way back. Now, this is one of these moments, Jeff, as we focus on one of the great performances from back in the day of the Marching Tar Heels. I guess that's me saying that because this is the first time we're playing one in which I was actually in it. This is from my freshman year, 1997, and this is one of the great shows the band has done over the years, many times, the Circus Show.
Yeah, this show has significance to me personally for lots of reasons. When I started with the band as the director in '96, I found out about a week before band camp that I was taking over. So we were patching and mending a lot of things together that first year. But the fall of '97 was the first time where we really had time to plan, and come up with a program for what we wanted to do. And the Circus Show was that big piece that we wanted to bite off and kind of move in a direction, and got the music specially arranged for it and everything. And it happened to be this performance, as fate would have it, was from the big Florida State, North Carolina matchup.
Oh, yes.
In 97, which will, tomorrow's that game. And Florida State's not ranked as high as they were that time when we played them in 97. Still, it's a big time national game, 7:30 on ABC National. So it's fitting that we bring back that Circus Show that was first played for Carolina, Florida State, 13 years later, or no, more than that, 23 years later.
Exactly, yeah. But the thing about it, Jeff, is that college game day was actually in Chapel Hill that day. I think it's the only time for the football side that Kirk Herbstreit and Lee Corso, all those guys were in Chapel Hill. That was kind of in the early years of that show. It wasn't what it has become, but I don't know. We might be having a college game day in Chapel Hill in the next few years, if I had to guess again.
You're absolutely right. That was kind of my first time having been in Kansas prior to coming here. And of course, game day wasn't a thing, but that was my kind of first introduction to the big time college athletic scene, with game day there in the morning and the hype all day and all that. So it was a lot of special memories, and we pulled back that show a couple different times. It's just a good show and it's entertaining. So we hope you all enjoyed the 1997 performance of the Circus Show.
No circus is complete without the acrobatic skill of tumblers, jugglers, and twirlers. We now feature the UNC cheerleaders, juggler Sean Kelly, our flag and rifle corps, and our majorettes during this medley of traditional circus tunes. of the marching Tar Heels. Mike Ty, hoping all your skies are Carolina blue. Now make some noise, Tar Heels, and let.
Well, folks, what a fun look back at the Circus Show. Jeff, we talked about this earlier, but does it show the age of those that were in the band with me, of the definition? We weren't in HD, were we, back in 1997?
No, I think we were still on videotape at that point. Yeah.
That didn't go right up on YouTube. YouTube obviously was not a thing back in that time, but you know what? Thank you so much for setting this show up to feature the Trumpets. Finally, some love for my people. We've been wanting it.
Well, good things come to those who wait, Adam.
Well, Jeff, thank you so much for another great episode. And once again, we'll be back with another episode next week. Send in those questions. That's going to be fun to see the questions we get to pick via our social media streams, whether that be on Facebook, on Twitter, or via Instagram. So for Jeff Fuchs, my name is Adam Pohl. This has been another edition of the Pride of the ACC. Have a great evening, everybody. We did it.
Good stuff.
2 minutes and 45 seconds to spare.
That's awesome.
We keep coming up with good ideas, though, that make it more